feeling you get when it comes up.
So, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Half the Race Gone for first off, an actual premiere. This is the first round of the second season of the TSR Multiclass SuperGT Championship, or henceforth, to make it a bit shorter, we're probably just gonna call it the MultiGT. We had a blast doing this, both Trials and I. Sadly, no Trials here today. It will just be myself, Dirt and DK, taking you through the action, but we had a blast doing this season. Last season it was so much fun, incredible racing, and we are here once more with the help of the TSR Motorsports team. GT Welsh, VRS Stick, thank you so much for making this series happen. We are here for the first round. It is going down at Fuji Speedway F, and let's just jump right to the replay. And a couple of changes have been made since the last season. Hello to T5 Black. Nice to see you. A couple of changes were made in comparison to last season. Qualifying now takes place on the day, as opposed to last season when it was held on the day before the actual race, and it's now a super pole concept, which means that each driver, each car only gets one flying lap. They go out in sets of 4, which means that each class has 2 sets of car coming out of 4, making it pretty easy to space out. Then there's one warm-up lap, and then it's one flying lap, and that made for some really interesting stuff also on qualifying. So anyways, taking you through the grid. I would love to do the grid walk, but I haven't gotten that used to the liveries yet, so today we're just gonna do it here on the standard grid. Armored Core, and I'm sorry for not mentioning you in the NES thread, Armored Core, as representing for the NES, but you most certainly are representing for the NES, and you are most certainly also on pole position with a very nice time there in qualifying, beating last year's runner-up, if I remember correctly, Fred Dude, the very swift Belgian that we know from last season around. A newcomer to this series is Mikey2412 USA, or just Mikey, as we're gonna call him henceforth. Another driver that we know very well is in 4th position for this race on the grid. It is CJ. Then there is AJH 1990, or just AJ, as we're gonna call him. He's in P5. Pinkeray is in P6. It is Zephyr 96, or just Zephyr, in P7. And rounding off the GT 500 field, it is Warlock SRB. And Sam Digby took the pole position, last year's champion in the GT 300 series. He took the pole position here at round 1, showing his pace is very much still there. Joe of the Fire, very much known as an NES fast boy. He is in 2nd position in front of myself. GT Welsh and VRS Dick right behind the two faces, very much known TSR Motorsport guys, very much known faces from, well, both last season of this and for more recent viewers of the channel, the M3 Championship. Dad 24, also a well-known face from before mentioned M3 Championship, and the same goes for the roundup of the grid here, which is made up of T5 Black, the Swedish Survivor, and Belgian JC. So really nice to see you guys again, and really nice to be racing with so many known familiar faces. It makes it a very, very cozy experience. Hello to Joe in chat. Hello to Desert Penguin, also nice to see you guys here. And just about in time for us to kick off the warm-up lap. And of course, this season is gonna feature, just like last season, it's gonna feature a manual formation lap with a rolling start. And as we're seeing that, it is Armored Core with the two Hondas showing a good pace here in front of the leading Nissan. Then CJ, he is in the Lexus GT500 as well. This is AJ, he's in the Nissan GTR. Pinkeray, he's in the Lexus as well. That is Zephyr in the Nissan, that Deutsche Post livery, a very nice one indeed. And Warlock also in that very cool Cent Lexus livery. Some real life stuff getting shown for you there. And we have the GT300s rolling as well. Here it is Sam Digby in the very much white and orange Aston Martin. Beautiful livery there. It says something in Japanese that I just cannot read. Joe of the Fire and myself right behind him. And to be fair, this is the first livery that I made for the Have the Race Gone team. If you get the chance to check it out, I hope you like it. There myself, P11 overall, but that is of course with 8 cars in each class. That is 3rd in class there. GT Welsh in the number 63 Gainer Nissan GTR GT3 car, and that is the car that, if I recall correctly, put him very close to the championship, just missing out in the fight with Sam Digby. In the BMW M3, we have Dad 24 in the Porsche 911 RSR, T5 Black as well in the BMW M3, the teammate obviously there of VRS Dick, and JC in the 2nd Porsche 911. So let's go take a look, because it is time to get the GT500 drivers on the way as they just swing out of that very tricky last corner here upon Fuji. And we'll be waiting for the drivers to bunch up down this, well, also very, very, very long back straight. And hello to GT Welsh in chat. Very nice to see you. And then nice to see that you're here. That was actually what I meant to say, I think. But I'm excited, guys, as we see the race gets underway, and it is Armored Core leading him down towards turn 1. Mikey there, tucked in, but he's gonna go make a move there, and CJ's on the inside of Fred. Oh, there's a little nudge. Oh, and a lot of contact there. And that was surely very, very unlucky for Armored Core. He was just caught out there. Mikey in turn gets away. I think he gets away cleanly there, taking 1st position. CJ now in 2nd, with Pinkeray also making up 3 spaces due to the bad luck of some of the other drivers there. Warlock in 4th position, I'm sorry. And Fred there in the 2nd of the NSXs there, getting pushed down, and now getting overtaken, being pushed down into 6th position by Zephyr here. And a very, very, very squirmy start indeed to the proceedings here, as we have the start also having gone in the GT300 class, with Digby still holding out in front of Joe of the Fire, with myself in 3rd position still. A little down the order, it is VRS Dick and GT Welsh. Oh, what is that? That is myself in one of the Audis having gone wide, and that just puts me all the way at the back of the GT300 pack. That is not how you want to start a race. First race of the season, having qualified in third position and just blow it like that. Stupid mistake to make so early in the race there. So Digby getting off nicely there as we follow the BMW of VRS Dick. The Swedish survivor T5 Black, he's made up one position already. And the two Porsches up behind seem to be battling out. It is Dad 24 with JC the Belgian almost going 3 wide, and Dad getting a little bit squirmy there as he takes a very alternative line into the last corner there and gets a slide on, and that is contact. And you saw the driver, you saw me in the car basically really bobbing my head around. Ouch, that is damage, and I think you will see I'm going into the pitch. Also AJ pitting in with damage now. So a bit of chaos here, very eventful first lap. Still Mikey just getting cleanly away and taking good advantage of that as he comes down through the very tight chicane there. CJ still in second position, but I do believe he has some damage from that early incident. And we could just quickly have a look at the damage situation of the different drivers here. CJ with front suspension and some aero damage. Pinkeray got away cleanly, same goes for Warlock and Zephyr. Fred Dude having been into the pits, he's gotten his damage sorted out, and also same goes for Armored Core. And in the GT300 class it is Sam Digby leading off, but with compatriot Joe of the Fire really close in behind in that Audi R8. And now it is British 1, 2, 3 in the GT300s at the moment. Absolute domination here. So some serious F-worthy start there for a lot of the GT500 drivers. It was really hard to see what actually happened in that first corner. Seemed like CJ just carried a bit too much speed in towards the apex. Got a touch to Fred, who in turn hit Armored Core, and then all hell kind of broke loose. And a really unlucky one for those drivers involved in that calamity. But that is what happened, and especially when you're not necessarily used to racing those Group 2 cars. They are very twitchy as Joe of the Fire has a good run onto Sam Digby coming down into turn 1. It seems like Digby's just gonna hold him off with the defensive line. Even though Joe seems to get a pretty good exit there. We take a look back with the GT500 leader. It is Mikey there. Pinkeray still in second position, followed by CJ, still running around track with that damage. He'll probably be looking to get that fixed. Zephyr in P4 with Warlock in P5 going a little bit wide there. Surely losing a bit of time. Fred Dude, he is gonna be like a hungry lion. Really hungry just to make up some of that time he lost getting the damage, getting in to get it fixed in the pit. Same goes for Armored Core, having his perfect start in pole position, blown by that turn 1 incident. So bad luck for him. So Sam Digby still heading off proceedings in the GT300s as we catch the two leaders coming through the last section once more. And hello to Jomas, very nice to see you. Gran Turismo All-Star and one of the world's absolute best drivers, actually being a participant at this year's World Finals. And also a participant in the last season of this series where you joined. If I remember correctly, you were with us for a race at the Kyoto track, if I'm not completely mistaken. Anyways, it was it was a dominant display from you after getting damaged very early in the race, still managing to basically just overtake the entire field and beat the otherwise fastest GT500 drivers by quite a margin. Anyways, nice to see you in chat. So Digby is holding off as the GT300 leaders is about to be lapped for the first time. And that is AJ getting caught up. He's actually, I'm sorry, that is of course not lapping. That is actual battle for position there as AJ is forced to go around the outside of Sam Digby. Honest battle how it is, but makes it easy as it should be in one of the GT500 cars. Obviously AJ probably the one taking the most damage from that. Oh yeah, it was Dragon Trail Gardens indeed. Correct on that one. And I don't know if it's too much honor for you. I've personally followed you through the European finals, and kudos for some fantastic racing there, especially in that Group B repecharge race. That was simply amazing. That is some of the best racing I have personally ever seen on Gran Turismo Sport. Anyway, still Digby with Joe of the Fire really close in behind. Seems to be the battle to follow for the moment, as Digby gets a really good exit, but he doesn't manage to break the slipstream, and already now you see that Audi R8 just getting sucked in. And Joe of the Fire moves to the right to go on the defensive. Is Joe gonna be able to make it on the outside? He has his nose in front, but he also has the outside line coming into turn 1 here. Let us see, side by side. But Digby that is expertly putting his car in the way of Joe of the Fire and not making it able for him to do any kind of cutback there. As we take a look with Pinkeray here, he is having the company of Zephyr 96. And some really close racing also going down right now in the GT 500 Championship. And the class, I'm sorry it's called. As we see Zephyr, he is right upon the bumper, jumping out the slipstream, and now they're side by side coming down towards turn 1. CJ is in front of these two, and it seems like Pinkeray just hit that braking zone perfectly there and managed to outbrake Zephyr into turn 1. And also just a question of the size of your cojones as a driver in such a situation there. Oh, looking wide, and he goes off. And Pinkeray, oh, and he puts it in the wall there sideways. Such poor luck. Just saw him getting wide on the exit of turn 3 there. And that AstroTurf is just a slippy piece of the world to be in. And Pinkeray, he learned that the hard way. And now he has some hard damage to contend with, and that just plays into the hand of Zephyr now up into the podium spots in the GT 500 class. CJ still with damage. As he comes into the final sector, you must surely be thinking about pitting in to get that damage sorted out. As we have a look with Joe of the Fire taking the lead into turn 1, just about cutting in there. As Digby gets the run and the cutback, this is some really intense racing. But Joe has the inside line here into turn 3, but Digby, does he carry so much speed through there? Oh, that is brilliant driving from Sam Digby, retaking the lead there. Fantastic. Super racing between the two Brits in the lead of the GT 500 class at the moment. That was sterling stuff there. Now taking a look at the battle here, that is for 4th position in class between the two BMW M3 teammates. It is obviously the Sticky Boy being joined by the Swedish Survivor, T5 Black. So T5 close, but not really looking like he is gonna mount any kind of aggressive challenge at the moment to VRS Stick. They might just be interested in working together and trying to close up the gap in front. See, there is a couple of seconds up to GT Welsh, who's in 3rd position there in that Gainer Nissan GTR, the number 63 car. Well, that's a nice pun from Mr. Off. Indeed, I also got to see the meaning of Fuji Speedway F, but I'm not gonna ask for too many Fs for myself. I just had a shit race anyways. But that is how it goes at times. Anyway, it is still Mikey leading. He's had a strong start in the GT 500s. He's gotten cleanly away, and he's got quite the gap down to CJ, who is still staying out with the damage. And you just have to consider it would be a little bit better for him to perhaps just pit in and get that damage fixed, but hasn't chosen to do so yet. And Zephyr here, as he comes to pass one of the Audis. And that was the car driven by me, I think, if I'm not completely mistaken. Of course it is, because Joe of the Fire is battling it out with Sam Digby at the moment. as we rejoin the fight for the GT300 lead, and it is as close as ever. Yeah, and hello, hi, bye, Stick. I'm also gonna join in that club. Enjoy fitting your oil pipe, oil feed pipe to your turbo. That's the kind of motorsport stuff I don't really deal with. I haven't really dealt with at all. I think my budget in life has limited me to the world of sim racing so far. Anyway, there's Sam Digby there taking the defensive line coming down towards turn 1. And as Joe of the Fire also noted in chat earlier, this was going on lap after lap after lap after lap. And as we see there, he comes with the cutback once more. Efficient strategy this has turned out to be, because the run down to turn 3 is all important. But Digby once more, he's on the inside, but he also must concede this time around to Joe of the Fire, who in turn jumps into the lead. And such a strong battle. Such a nice battle, you guys. Great racing that we've seen here over the course of the opening 15 minutes of this race. We are 9 laps into the race so far. Still Mikey leading from CJ, Zephyr, Warlock, and Fred Duke now having made his way back up into 5th position. Armored Core, the pole setter, is in 6th with Pinkeray down in 7th position after his unfortunate crash from the exit of turn 3 there. AJ in 8th position in class there. Digby is back up into the lead in the GT300. So trading places are the 2 leaders here, and they managed to be breaking away from the rest of the field at the same time. So not too much of a calamity going down there, as some very clean racing indeed. Also haven't seen the 2 have any kind of contact yet. So let's see if Joe of the Fire can repeat the feat from the last lap. We have Digby there. Maybe he's gonna try to shield the entire inside line there. No, he tries to get early on the power. And in turn, he does open the door for that cutback once more from Joe of the Fire. But Joe of the Fire not with sufficient speed on that exit to make it stick. And it is once again St. Digby in the lead, as Digby gets a little bit of a bad exit there from turn 3 through the long right sweeper there, but manages to hold off Joe of the Fire behind him. Stunning racing there from the 2 here. And GT Welsh, he is still 3rd in that GT500 class. He is on a little bit of an island at the moment. T5 Black has gotten past his teammate and is now up into 4th position in class there, with VRS taking turn down into 5th. JC, he's in 6th with Dad 24 and 7th, and myself rounding off. That was a real burp, excuse me. Rounding off the GT300 field. Really competitive racing so far there, as some of you also have noted in chat. There's some fantastic racing right now in that GT300 field, as once more the 2 leaders, they're on the start finish straight, and that usually means action coming down to turn 1. Let's see what kind of sorcery they can conjure up this time around. And it is Joe of the Fire going to the inside, and it is one of the NSXs, the GT500 NSXs, also having to join in and to overtake there. Joe of the Fire getting the job done this time cleanly on the inside. And I think Digby just thought about having a little look up the inside, but then thought twice about that, and just seems to slugging along right behind Joe of the Fire. This is a really hard place to be so close to the car in front because of the dirty air. So it's really something that also does torture the tires. Even though the lobby settings here with both fuel and tires at regular rate, you could call it, just a 1 times fuel burning and tire degradation. So that means that the tire life was quite long on these racing hards. And I think you will also see some of the drivers double stinting their tires. Here as we have the Lexus of CJ making his way just around the two GT300 leaders. Joe of the Fire now seemingly making himself a bit of an advantage there through the last sector. Will he be able to put Sam Digby out of his slipstream here? Not entirely maybe, but he will be close, I think. So still Mikey in front, and it is still CJ in second, still running with the damage. And I have to give CJ that it is very well done to be able to run 12 laps with both aero and suspension damage like that, and still to be able to keep up the pace and to keep his second position until the time comes where a pit stop would be more natural, so to say. There it is. Zephyr still in third position as he's making his way around the leading GT300s. Let's see what kind of a gap he has down to the NSX of Fred Dude. And that is quite the gap. But also mind you that the first cars there in the GT500 class, of course, I'm sorry, they have not pitted yet. So the fact that they have yet to pit might still give these drivers who were involved in that turn 1 calamity a chance of coming back. Armored Core in 5th position in front of Pingree, Warlock and AJ in 8th. We see Warlock having passed the car. I think that is the one, the Porsche of JC right there. So Joe of the Fire now seemingly just as I was about to say, he looked like he had the slipstream broken. We just see the orange figure of that Aston Martin of Sam Digby right behind. And nice to have you along, Jomas. I hope you have the time to join us some other time here at Have the Race Gone, and best of luck with your GT Sport endeavors. Best of luck when you are going to the World Championships. And not that I know him or anything, but from a fellow Dane, please also say hi to Kenny. With that out of the way, it is Joe of the Fire still leading him out, and Sam Digby in second position. He's back into the slipstream now. He is by no means out of contention for that lead battle. T5 Blacks trying to make his way up to GT Welsh, but finds himself on a bit of an island there with VRS Dick just losing a little bit of time now to his teammate. It is JC in the faster of the two 911s there. Just suffers a bit of commentator's curse there, but also manages to take it easy and to keep the car on track there. That is good work from the Belgian. Meanwhile, myself in the back, I have overtaken that 24 and is now up into 7th position in class. Still not really satisfying. Thinking about that, I actually managed to put in the car on 3rd position on the grid, so yeah, not really that great for myself. Mikey still in the lead, and he looks to have a healthy advantage down to CJ, still running that damaged car, but in turn also still keeping Zephyr at bay, so not really having the reason to pit. And it also looked like on the last couple of laps still that CJ's actually been extending his advantage a little bit, so that is really strong work from the Greek driver. As we see Fred here overtaking Digby, and he's gonna give Digby a bit of a tow here coming up towards Joe of the Fire. Might just help with putting him into the slipstream here at the end of the start, fitting straight into turn 1. Of course, I mean Big Daddy-O, our father, who is of course not our father, it's just Dad 24. And I do know it sounds a little bit weird every time I call him Dad. Obviously it's not my dad, but well, he could have chosen another username for PSN, I guess. I don't know. So Fred Dude there, not really having had the race that he would have hoped for so far. Hello to Ascaro Sky, and welcome to Have the Race Gone. Welcome to the MultiGT. Great to have you along. Looking at pole setup armored core with some very spacey numbers there. Looks like they've been printed on, yeah, that is some spacey number design there on the fins of that GTR. That is the broken 12. I don't know if that is an effect of the damage that he had through turn 1. That was a bad pun, I'm sorry. Pingaray in 6th position, also just suffering the effects of his solo crash there. Also quite early in the race for him to have that accident still. Time for him to make up some of the space. Warlock here, stuck in some traffic. And that might just be a battle for what is 6th position in class. I think that is JC and myself. And it most certainly is the Porsche 911 of the Belgian driver JC. But in turn, I also somehow managed not to put enough fuel in to finish the hugely stupid mistake. As you see, there are not a lot of fuel left, and that is not gonna be enough to finish proceedings here. So another stop needed for myself at some point of the race anyways. And interesting to see how the traffic is not only affecting the GT500 race when people are getting held up, but also affecting the GT300s as some of the drivers find themselves giving a helping hand. And now it is Digby having retaken the lead from Joe of the Fire. So a fantastic battle here. Well, really strong driving from Digby. He did get a ticket back. But still, it is one thing catching up to the driver in front, and it is quite another getting past. And we know St. Digby is a very competent driver. He was very fast there. CJ chooses to go around the inside. Clever move from himself, not getting involved in the battle for the GT300 lead. And also just getting himself out of the way quickly as possible there. Joe of the Fire very close. And he is putting on the pressure there, hoping for Digby to make a mistake. But Sam Digby, in the meanwhile, just looks cool, calm and collective. None of these two drivers has seemed fazed about this type of battle that they have been involved in any kind of way. And GT Welsh, well, he is still in 3rd position. And he has just steadily been building upon his gap down to the 4th place, T5 Black. And the Swede is now ever so more on an island. Same pretty much goes for the Sticky Boy, and still a battle there for 6th position in class. And can I just say that for me personally, I think this was the first time that I actually drove a race where I kind of, because I've driven Fuji in different racing games and previous Gran Turismo games and such, but I haven't really ever raced Fuji in any kind of league racing before, and so I have never really had the need to learn the track properly. And having finally done that, I must say it is such a great track to drive on. Once you get into the rhythm, once you get to feel the flow of the track, it is just such a fun track. And that final corner is a fantastic one. And you can really feel when you get a good exit, you know you've gotten a good exit there. GAC getting down the back straight there as Welsh goes into the pit. And he is on his way out the pits now as well. And that means that he's had his pit stop taken care of. And by the way, it also seems like GAC has had his pit stop taken care of already. And with off Apple noting that Fuji might make an appearance in the Season 5 of the NES, the Nuke Shot Endurance Series, and, well, personally, I would very, very much welcome Fuji replacing Suzuka for the Japanese race in that series, because let's just say that multi-class racing at Suzuka, especially when it's with LMP1s and GT3s, is hair racing at best. I think Suzuka being a very wide, very wide, it's exactly the opposite of that. Really narrow and with only one real racing line around much of the track. Much more room for overtaking here at Fuji. So now that is Digby in the pits, Joe of the Fire having taken the lead, and Joe of the Fire just attempting to overcut, or you could say Digby attempting to undercut Joe of the Fire. But with the tire wear here, it is worthy of noting that the car doesn't really seem to get slower as the laps progresses. It's more the other way around. Take a look with Digby there, fresh out the pits now with all the fuel he needs. And he is still on those original tires, so he has opted for the strategy of double stinting those hard tires as he runs a little bit wide there. Surely it's going to cost him a little bit of time at least. T5 Black is up into third position in class after the pit stop of GT Welch, who is now behind both T5 and his teammate VRS Stick, who's swiftly joined us in chat once more. And great to see you taking the time to join us for this race today, Sticky Boy. And having a look at Welsh there, JC, Dad 24, and myself having had a terrible lap on the last one. Look at that lap time, 2 minutes and 13. I don't know, I hardly even remember, and I have no idea what I must have been up to there. But could just have been a pit stop in for a fuel and maybe also some other stuff, but surely not a good race for me so far. Now we still have Mikey leading the GT 500s. He has had an absolutely perfect race so far in that more than pink Honda NSX. Took the lead early on and has just never looked back ever since. Fred Dude now up into second position. Zephyr in second, so maybe we've just neglected the GT 500s for a while there, because a lot of stuff certainly has happened here. So double Honda now is in front. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think Fred has been into the pits yet. And Joe of the Fire noting that he took on tires accidentally. Well, I can say that accidentally I did exactly the same thing at my pit stop. Just so used to having to change tires whenever you have a pit stop that clicking on the tires as you come in, that is just such a routine. And that was a hard one to break, I think, for me. Oh, Joe of the Fire there getting very sideways with that Audi R8. Doing a brilliant job of keeping it in line, keeping it under control. Not losing out too much on that. Digby has, however, Digby certainly has a healthy advantage now following that pit stop round from the two GT300 leaders, and it is the first time of this race that we are really seeing this kind of split between the leaders of the class. It is Fred Dude very close there. Zephyr in third position. Armored Core is also getting close, so that looks like we're gonna have a three-way scrap pretty much between the three Nissan GTRs in the GT 500 class, unless the two drivers behind, I mean, unless Zephyr and Armored Core has had pit stops while Fred Dude hasn't. But it certainly looks like Armored Core has a lot more fuel left. Armored Core, of course, having been into the pits early in the race and having that pit stop taken care of, he should be able to finish the race on the fuel that he has left now. Zephyr there really pushing to keep up with Fred Dude, the very fast Belgian there, as he's coming up to lap 1 of the Porsche 911s. That is the car of JC. There also Zephyr getting by safely, coming into the chicane. Zephyr there, and Armored Core in 4th position. CJ now having his pit stop taken care of. He is in 5th position, but in turn he also put in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:31.3, and the last 5 laps or so from him has been very, very quick, and it seems like that he actually got used to driving the car with the damage it had, and after having the damage fixed, he has been on an absolute flyer. So really strong work there from CJ indeed. And by no means is he out of contention, even though we are getting close to the end of the race. So Zephyr still in 3rd position, still trying to close that gap up to Fred Dude. And Armored Core is just closing in there. As we take a look with Joe of the Fire there, and that is Sam Digby has disappeared. He is gone. And that is, I think we should call out for those Fs now. Fs in chat, please, for Mr. Digby there. And Fs in chat for that lead battle in the GT300 class that we will see no more of. I'm quite sure it was just a regular disconnection there for Sam, but nevertheless, such horrible luck, both for his sake in terms of the race, in terms of the championship, but also in terms of the racing that we viewers are being given, because it was an absolutely amazing battle between the two. Now it is an absolute gift also for T5 Black, who has taken that gift, and he's up into 2nd position. And just said that, it is quite close now here behind, because VRS Dick has caught up with GT Welsh, and that is in turn the battle for P3 in class, as we also see that is now Fred Dude, Zephyr and Armored Core coming up. And as you say, indeed, they're coming on. Ooh, that is Zephyr going onto a very narrow patch of track there, and Stick just goes right around Welsh for some reason. Well, that... I was quite sure that Welsh was in front of Stick before. I might have been mistaken there. But all of a sudden that blue BMW was in front, and it is DRS Stick now in 3rd position. So the BMWs there now taking up 2 out of 3 podium places and looking very strong for the team championships there. And it is Welsh now trying to put on the pressure, and we're just gonna have a look here with Fred Dude. He seems to have taken a little bit of time out of Zephyr. And in turn, Armored Core is getting closer and closer now. And as you see, Zephyr just using all of the slipstream that the BMW of T5 Black is able to produce. And now he's really gotten close to Zephyr there, Armored Core. And seems like we are gonna have a battle for the GT500 podium also here on the last couple of laps of the race. It is still Mikey holding a healthy advantage down to Fred Dude. I think he's looking at about 10, 12, maybe even a bit more seconds. It'll be interesting to see if Fred Dude will be able to actually finish the race on the amount of fuel that he has left in his tank right now. Zephyr looking strong in P3, but Ahmed Khoury also down closing up. CJ in turn is also not so far behind, but he will really need to put out some extraordinary performance in order to make up that kind of time. And as he just gets held up a little bit there by T5. Very, very, very difficult portion of the track not to lose time on when having to deal with the slower traffic of the GT300s there. Also because the GT300 cars are by no means obliged to get out of the way of the 500s. It is actually the job of the 500s to find their way past as fastly as possible, while also making safe overtakings. So that is definitely worth remembering when watching other battles here at the end of the straight. It seems like Ahmed Khoury is now caught up to Zephyr pretty much, and those two are getting really, really close. And we are not many seconds away. If Ahmed Khoury keeps up at this pace, he will be able to make a move within, well, maybe even at the end of this lap. Just having a look at Joe of the Fire, he has a very healthy advantage. And T5 Black also looking strong there. But GT Welsh in turn having overtaken VRS Stick. Now there for third position in class. So yet another change of position for the GT300 podium. And as we go back to Zephyr looking there, Ahmed Khoury, well, he's gonna appear in the picture. Oh, he is still very close. So Zephyr looking for the exit here. Of course, Ahmed Khoury doing the same. Ahmed Khoury looking to get a really strong exit there actually. And he might be in the suck of that other Nissan. You see the lights flashing there. He is trying to play some mind games now. He is trying to maybe put just a spot of nervousness into the heart of Zephyr 96. As he goes to the outside there, looking to maybe just go all the way around, but also just finding it impossible. Strong defensive move there from Zephyr. Ahmed Khoury thinks about launching one up the inside. Not possible there. Zephyr just gets squirmy on that exit. But there's no way past for Ahmed Khoury, as the two drivers here in turn have to overtake Joe of the Fire. He wisely, he can afford that half a second loss to the other GT300s. He has a very healthy advantage there, as we see Ahmed Khoury close as ever. He is ducking and he is diving, trying just to find a way through. And in turn it looks to be really, really difficult. It is still Zephyr holding on to third position. Very strong work there. As we are on the penultimate lap, and we are coming on towards the last lap now. Just having a look, T5, it is still, now it is Stick having overtaken GT Welsh, and GT Welsh now also might come with a move here. Of course, also the penultimate lap, it means for those drivers now, so it means we'll really have to jump back and forth to keep up with the action here. Zephyr seeming to have the better run of the two down the start-finish straight here. And it doesn't exactly look like that Ahmed Khoury is going to get close enough, but he is going to have a look anyways. Just tucks back in order to get a good racing line through there, in order to get a good exit. Jumping back to the battle for third position in the GT300 class, as they also come down the start-finish straight. And coming on to their last lap, as you see, final lap there. The marker is out and Welsh is up the inside there, and he has his nose in front. So it's just a matter if he hit the braking zone there, as VRS Stick comes for the cutback there, really close between the two. And I think Welsh might have lost a little time there on the curve, but he seems to go very defensive into turn 3. And he does so well indeed there. So it is GT Welsh holding on to third position. Let's see Zephyr now. They are coming up towards the last turns. And that in turn means that it is Mikey finishing the race. He's gonna take the victory here at the opening round at Fuji. What a strong performance by the Honda driver. Now it is Fred, dude, coming back from that accident to take second position, and a 1-2 for their team, a 1-2 for Honda. That is very, very strong. Zephyr, he's gonna finish P3 right in front of Armored Core. CJ actually catching up there, meaning that it's gonna be Pinkeray in third. Oh no, sorry, in sixth position. Welsh and Stick, however, there's contact there on the last lap between the two drivers. It'll be interesting to see if there will be any repercussions for that. Seemed like a bit of a lunge from VRS Stick, but he does take the track position, and he doesn't look like he has any intention of giving it back. And he gets a flash of the lights there from GT Welsh. Oh. Now what has happened there? Oh, so Stick has run out of fuel, and Welsh gentlemanly stayed behind there. Now it is JC coming home for that fifth position in class, with me coming home for P6, and that 24 also almost, or already should I say, haven't come home for seventh in class. And that, I think, also concludes this race pretty much. Just seeing my car cross that line, indeed there it was. So I'm almost I feel like I sound 5 years older than when we started this stream. So much action, such great racing here. I have really been looking forward for the start of this series. I just kind of had a feeling that it was going to be great, and I think I was proven to be right on that one. It was a fantastic race. It was really nice to watch all this. Of course, always a shame with some of those first lap contacts, but it really much also seemed that with that first lap aside, we had some fantastically clean racing. We had some amazing battles, positions changing back and forth. I think it was a great race to follow, and it was a great race to broadcast for you. I had a shit ton of fun, and I hope you had as well. And well, I feel like I'm almost out of breath or out of voice here. Anyways, with that being said, I think that pretty much concludes this first round of the MultiGT Championships. It's been a great pleasure presenting it to you here on Half the Race Gone. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining in chat. It has been a great pleasure having you all along for the ride. Of course, we will be back come the other side of the weekend, or actually, we will be back here at Half the Race Gone on Saturday for a live stream of me racing in White Flight's 200-kilometer monthly Group 3 race. This time from Circuit de Saint-Croix. And also, of course, come the other side of the weekend, we will be back with the second round of a second race of the fifth round of the Nukeset Endurance Series that is also taking part in Japan and Suzuka. So with that little bit of advertising for ourselves being done, remember you can also find us on Twitter, where we will do our utmost and best to keep you updated on all things Half the Race God. And yeah, I think that's about it. So as I said, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you've had as much fun as I had. doing this raid. It was really great. And until next time, I hope to see you again soon. My name is DK. You've been watching Half the Race Gone. Take care, have fun, and bye-bye.